So children, we are going to see refraction at spherical surfaces. So far we have seen how refraction takes place at plane surfaces like the case of a glass slab and all. So now we are going to study the refraction at spherical surfaces. This is a very important topic and it's an important derivation also. So it's a lengthy derivation, slightly lengthy. Because why I say this is that we have Lensmaker's formula. We can derive Lensmaker's formula from the idea of refraction at spherical surfaces. Lenses, you all might be having a rough idea of what lenses are, because you might have learned it in 10th standard. You know that lenses are transparent surfaces where light undergoes refraction while passing through a lens, and an image is formed, a real image is formed, or a virtual image is formed as a result of this. So here let us consider the image formation by a spherical surface, because when you consider lens, say the case of a convex lens, you know the shape of a convex lens. A convex lens is of the shape like this, isn't it? So you can consider this convex lens as a combination of two surfaces, a convex surface and a concave surface clubbed together. So we are going to deal with this separately. That is what happens when light travels from a rarer to a denser medium, because we know that lens is made of glass. So it is moving from a rarer to a denser medium. Suppose this part of the lens is not there. We consider it as separately. This part of the lens is not there. So what will happen? An object placed at this position will be forming an image somewhere inside the lens itself. And we know that there is another part of the lens which is a concave surface also. So the object formed, or the image formed by the first convex surface, will act as a virtual object for the second concave surface. So that is how final image is formed by the combination of these two spherical surfaces. So first let us see how the image is formed by the convex surface. So for that we have to draw the diagram. First let us draw the principal axis. Then you can have the convex surface. Here it is a rarer medium, say air, because we are going to keep the lens in air, and N2 is the refractive index of the material of the convex surface. So this is the convex surface. For simplicity, let us mark it as APC. Let this be the convex surface. We are going to place a point object O here. So what will happen? A light ray will be incident on the surface, convex surface, in this manner. Where it hits the surface, from there we have to draw the normal. Then only you will get the angle of incidence. What is the angle of incidence? Angle of incidence is the angle between the incident ray and the normal. So this is the normal. So the point where it meets the surface, let us name it as N. And we can mark this as angle I. Now the ray is traveling from rarer to a denser. This whole part is a denser medium. Okay. So rarer to a denser medium, we know that the light ray will suffer refraction and it will bend towards the normal. This is the normal. Instead of going straight, it will bend towards the normal and the image is formed here. Let us say the image is formed here. Now OP will be the object distance and PI will be the image distance. Now for small spherical apertures, that is small surface of the, that is when you consider spherical surfaces, when they are not too much spherical, we can consider it as small apertures. For that case, we can draw a perpendicular from N to the principal axis such that it meets at M, such that NP will be equal to NM itself. That is, this PM, the distance is very, very small. So it can be considered as NP is equal to NM itself. Because we have to consider perpendiculars in order to consider this as triangles, right angle triangles, and you can apply the conditions of trigonometry there. Now I am going to mark some angles here. Before that, this line is the normal. We know that the normal will always pass through the center of curvature. So let us mark this as C. Okay. And I'm going to mark the angles as we have angle of refraction. Angle of refraction is the angle between the normal and the refracted ray. This is the refracted ray, this is the normal. So this is the angle of refraction. Now I am going to name some angles. NOM as alpha, NOM as alpha, NCM as beta, and NIM as gamma. So we have marked 3 angles, alpha, beta and gamma. Now CPC or MC will be the radius of curvature. Because as this is a spherical surface, it will have a radius of curvature, and we can mark this as R. And object distance is OM. So I am going to mark that as U. And image distance is MI. I am going to mark it as V. We know the notations for object distance and image distance. Now we are going to derive a relationship between the refractive indices of the rarer medium, the denser medium, the object distance, image distance and the radius of curvature. So by taking this equation again to the second surface also, and by combining these two surfaces, we are going to arrive at the popular lens maker's formula, which is very useful in finding out the focal length or the radius of curvature or the refractive index of any material of the lens. Now let us get started with the derivation. First, we have marked the angles considering the right angle triangles NOM, NCM and NIM. Now, considering the right angle triangle NOM, you can see that angle I is the exterior angle and alpha and beta are the interior angles. When you consider the angle triangles NOM and NCM, you can combine NOM and NCM and make it as NOC, this big triangle. Then I is the exterior angle and alpha and beta are the interior angles. Now we can apply geometry here. You can write I is equal to alpha plus beta by considering the triangle NOC. Okay. Now, why we have started with this triangle is that, or angle of incidence is that, for any kind of relation, we first start with the Snell's law. So for Snell's law, we need angle I and angle R and the distances. So distances means object distance, the image distance and all. So next, let us consider the triangle NIM. For this, beta is the exterior angle and R and gamma are the interior angles. For triangle NIM. Triangle NIM. You can refer the notes for much clarity. Beta is equal to R plus gamma. But we want R. So I am going to write R is equal to beta minus gamma. Okay, equation number 1, equation number 2. Now we can write what alpha, beta and gamma are in terms of tangent. Okay, or the tan of I or tan of alpha, what is tan of beta, what is tan of gamma. In that term we can write, because it will be easier for us to bring the dependence of OM, MC and MI in the equation. So I am going to write what tan alpha is. Tan alpha is equal to NM divided by OM or MN divided by OM. What is tan beta? Tan beta is equal to NM or MN divided by MC. MN divided by MC. And similarly, tan gamma is equal to M. And you can see Mn is common in all the equations, which will get cancelled out eventually. Mn divided by mi. So we got three equations in terms of distances. Okay. Now I'm going to write Snell's law. What is Snell's law? Sin I by sin R is equal to N2 by N1. I'm going to cross multiply this. So it will be sin I into N1, or N2 is equal to N2 into sin R. Now we know that for small apertures, angles will be very, very small. So sin I will be approximately equal to I itself, and sin R approximately equal to R itself. So you can substitute that even. You get N1I is equal to N2R. We can have this as our third equation. So here I have written N1 into I is equal to N2 into R. The Snell's law has got transformed into this form. Now I am going to substitute what we had written for I and R as previous equations. That is, I was Mn by Om plus Mn by Mc. That was alpha plus beta. And R was beta minus gamma, which in terms of distances Mn by Mc minus Mn by Mi. Now you can cancel all the Mn's. What do you get? N1 by Om plus N1 by Mc is equal to N2 by Mc minus N2 by Mi. Isn't it? So here, what is Om, Mc and Mi from the figure? You have to apply the sign conventions as well. I have already taught you the sign conventions when we had discussed about concave and convex mirrors. All distances are measured from the pole or the optic center of the mirror or the lens, and the direction of incident light is considered as positive, and any direction which comes, any length which comes as in the opposite sense is considered as negative. So in this case, from P to O, U should be negative according to sign convention. So you can apply the sign convention. What is OM? OM is U, but OM is negative U by sign convention. I am not writing by applying sign convention. Detailed notes are there with you in your hand. Then what is MC? MC is the radius of curvature. It is along the direction or in the direction of the light. Light comes in this direction, so it is also from P to C or M to C, it is positive. So I can write MC is equal to plus R. We don't have to write plus, just to make you understand that is according to sign convention, it gets a positive sign. And finally, we have Mi as plus B, because that is also in the same direction as that of the incident light. Now we can apply this in this formula, that is N1 by minus U plus N1 by R is equal to N2 by R minus N2 by V. Got it? So N1 by minus U plus N1 by R. Now what we are going to do is keep the image distance and object distance to one side and radius of curvature, the terms containing the radius of curvature, onto the other side. I can put a small bar here to write the next part of the equation. After rearranging this, it comes out in this manner, that is N2 by V minus. So for problems, you can use these two equations. This equation, the second equation, is from denser to rarer, and it is a, so I have shown it here, N2, and this is N1. Denser to rarer, and the other one was rarer to denser. These two equations are very, very important in solving problems where light travels at spherical surfaces. So you can also very well remember this, the first equation. You need to remember only the first equation. The second equation you can write automatically by flipping the notations n1 and n2. So it is n2 by image distance minus n1 by object distance is equal to n2 minus n1 divided by radius of curvature. You can learn it literally or you can learn it in terms of notations. So we have considered both the surfaces, both the diagrams are very important. You need to learn how to draw these two diagrams. And finally you are going to club these two surfaces, convex and concave, and you will get a lens like thing, and how the final image is produced by a lens and how you can arrive at the lens maker's formula.